Welcome to the Night Owl. Another looking for a train wreck, Art?
No, I'm just playing a game here, and I really don't know what else to watch at the same time. So why not
Okay.
chat with you guys?
Oh, thanks for dropping by. I don't know if anyone caught the Hangout Chris Mount did. I don't know that's just how you pronounce his name.
Chris Mouty.
Mounty.
Yeah,
I only got halfway through it. He was with Carl and Rancan. You were talking about why argue.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
I saw parts of it. Yeah.
yeah. I thought it was a good hangout, and I mean, partly in there, Carl talks about, and we've talked about this too, and it's like I have this contention with John May as well when it comes to Rob Beasley or something like that. It's like why do people insist on torturing themselves and getting into a conversation with somebody that they know where it's going to go, and for the most part a train wreck, and
That's a
and
good question.
yeah. What is it about us that we gotta, we need to do this, or some people need to torture themselves.
To me, it's just interesting. Even though I know how the discussion will end with Nephilim Free or G-Man or Ron Campbell or Raw or whatever. It's just interesting. It's just an exchange of ideas and perspectives. Also, it's fun, especially if you're right, which I am always.
I like to argue that point.
You can't. I'm right. There's nothing to argue. No, I'm good.
That's why Art and I never argue. We agree about everything.
Yeah, exactly. We were always right. There's nothing to argue.
You know, I spent 2 hours today. I'm not going to comment on whose thread it was or what video it was attached to, whose hangout or anything. But I got caught up in reading the comments in one of these threads. And after about 40 minutes into this, I decided to put the theme from the Young and the Restless soap opera on a loop in the background. And then I continued reading for another hour and 15 minutes. It was 2 hours of solid reading of comments back and forth, and just trying to verbally stab each other. And, it was only appropriate with soap opera music. But I started to realize something. And a lot of these hangouts, you see the argument is I'm going in as I'm right, and here's my information, and I'm going to argue it in a superior fashion, and both contestants have that appeal. And it's never, hey, here's my ideas, this is how I arrived at them, and this is what living this way has done for me in my life and why it's meaningful to me. You never see any kind of connection to that. They don't speak to that, how you live with that.
Well, and I think it's really important how you live with that. I think it's sorry. Your arguments should stand on their own merits. Whether or not your position is easier to live doesn't mean it's right.
I agree.
But you're kind of right. Yeah, mostly arguments are combative.
Yeah. And it's the same argument. It's repeating. It's I don't know.
Oh, by the way, I heard some sounds there. Brother John, by any chance, you didn't lower or raise my volume?
No, I raised my computer volume because you tend to be a little difficult to hear, so I raised your.
Oh.
I didn't raise your volume.
Oh, never mind. That was something. That sound was actually something else. Never mind.
Okay, you heard like a ding, a little ding.
Yeah, they did a notification when someone posts in a Hangout chat box.
Oh, okay, that wasn't me. No, but yeah. Grant, you listened to Young and Restless music for 2 hours in the background?
Yes, it was so appropriate for the thread. Because it's just instrumental. It da 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 da. It fit. That's all.
Well, I got it, but you're gonna have that shit in your head for like probably a couple of days now.
No, that's just it. It's like rinse. Once you stop playing it, it's gone.
Okay. Oh my God.
By the way, guys, Nephilim Free is having a hangout right now. So
What's that?
just Nephilim Free is having a hangout right now.
His own hangout, or is he in? I think.
His own.
Oh, okay. Go.
Just saying.
You gonna go see the wreck?
I'm seriously considering that. Yeah, I'm actually not really tired right now, even though it's 4 at night.
Yeah.
I know, maybe later. I know. I have to psychologically prepare myself.
By what? Hitting yourself in the forehead with a hammer?
Yeah. Need to find a pillow and stick it to my forehead or my desk or something, so that I don't hurt myself. Yeah. Although he has interesting questions, I will give him that. Interesting questions. They're mostly wrong, but interesting.
Well, the questions are wrong.
Yeah. Well, not wrong as in questions being wrong, but they're being addressed basically. He gets into this qualia thing, for example.
He gets into what?
Qualia. He argues for qualia. If you've heard about this.
Never. I'm not familiar with that.
Well, qualia is basically the a property of our experience. Qualia, like for example, saltiness or the color blue, that's qualia. That's what people who argue for mind-body dualism say proves that we have a mind outside of our brain because we have qualia, because we experience things that cannot be physical. That's what they call qualia.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, those are interesting
Just-
questions. I mean,
Yeah.
Consult the online book of knowledge.
yeah, almighty Google, all-knowing Google.
Yes.
That'd be the Wikipedia.
Either or, Google's going to take you there anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a podcast that I listen to, and whenever they have a question, they play the jingle. Consult the book of knowledge.
Is it no agenda?
Yeah.
I love that show.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great podcast. I think John Dvorak is a good compliment to Adam Curry.
Oh, they're excellent together.
Is that a YouTube channel or?
Uh,
What's
Go
that?
ahead, Greg.
It's probably the most comprehensive news that you'll be able to get online because Adam Curry does detailed policy analysis, and I mean he literally will read stuff, things that they're voting on. Like he was the one who determined what was really going on with the Hobby Lobby case by reading not only the dissension from Ginsburg, but all the legalese that went into the decision itself. They're donation driven, so they don't have any reason to not talk about things. Like they don't. So my dog, they're not sponsored by anybody, so they're not afraid to talk shit about everybody.
Oh, the YouTube channel is Conspiracy Scope?
No, it's No Agenda. I always just Google No Agenda and it takes me to their site.
Well, okay, because I put in No Agenda Show in YouTube, and I mean they have a site noagendashow.com, but okay, so.
I'll put up a link for you.
Alrighty.
You will enjoy it, Brother John. In fact, Art would probably enjoy it too.
They do 2 shows a week on Thursday and on Sunday, and they're generally about 2 hours long. So, yeah, and they pack a lot of news into 2 hours.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I mean, they do it in the format of like a morning show on the radio. So they keep it moving, they keep it entertaining, but they, oh man, they really just cram a lot of stuff in there that's news. And when you go to the website, if you want, they source document everything they talk about. So it's not like they're just paying lip service. Oh, I heard. Oh, I saw. They'll play a clip from whatever it is they're talking about, and then they'll have show notes that you can go to and get the actual story on or the document that they're talking about. But I'll put up the link right now.
Yeah, they're I don't know, they're over 600 shows right now, and so they've been doing this for a while. And when they, in the early days when they started out, Adam would sometimes get off in these, like he would be into UFOs and all kinds of crazy stuff. He'd entertain almost anything. And of course, John Dvorak wouldn't entertain any of it. So
it is the I'm sorry, it is the YouTube channel called Conspiracy Scope.
oh, is it?
It is, I mean,
Period. Intelligence whistleblower.
because they go to the website, the same website you just gave me, is in their description.
I
It-
suspect whatever's on YouTube is probably put up there by one of the listeners.
Yeah.
So it might actually be named that.
Right.
How do you say? Okay.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, Conspiracy Scope is a YouTube channel, and he's putting up broadcasts of No Agenda. Yes, those are No Agenda broadcasts. Absolutely.
But they don't have their own YouTube channel.
No, they have a live stream and on the podcast. And then they have a reference library that you can, it's a searchable library from their episodes, so you can search for terms and find episodes that covered that topic.
Yeah, the reason why they probably didn't do that, they encourage the listeners, who they call producers, to participate as much as they can. Like, it's kind of like open source material where if you can find a way to redistribute it, they're all for it. So if you want to put up a torrent or put it on YouTube or anything like that, they're fine with that. There's a guy who makes CDs of bits and pieces of their show and gives them out to people. So that's and that's probably, like, the YouTube channel is probably one of the producers putting it up.
Hitting you in the mouth, right?
Yeah. ITM, man.
In the morning to you. All you have to do is sit in through one podcast and you'll be a fan.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it's not just that, but there's predictive quality involved. I mean, they do an analysis, and then they say, so this is probably what we're going to see happening in the news for the next couple of days. And then, boom, you'll watch it happening in the news over the next couple of days. Because they'll tell you what the apparent backstory is, like who actually is involved heavily in, arms, and, well, the military-industrial complex, who owns stock in Raytheon, who owns stock in whatever. And you'll see, the neocons, these guys trying to push war in whatever country it is involved in, even if there's no reason for us to be there. You'll see them ramping up, either Fox News or whatever it is, trying to get, Americans angry so that we can, get the military on the move over there, or start putting machinery or, advisors or whatnot on the ground. And of course, usually around an oil connection, an oil line, an oil pipe, a refinery, or whatever.
And I think one of the coolest things, and I get a kick out of it every time it happens, the 6-week cycle.
Yes, that's
nuts.
Explain it. Go ahead.
Oh well, they have a theory. Well, actually, one of the producers works for the FBI, who kind of tipped them in on, like, and I don't know whether it was that he was telling them that this is actually going on or that he suspects that this is what's going on. But either way, the tip that he gave them had to do with the FBI basically setting up all of these sting operations, where somebody will go to try and blow something up, and then the FBI come in and rescue the day, kind of thing. And it happens every 6 weeks, almost to the day that these events take place. And they are always reporting on it. When they're approaching the 6-week cycle, they make a big deal about, like, keep your eyes open for it. And of course, something will happen. It ends up in the news. The guy that was it in Washington at the dockyards was there with a shotgun, and
Yep.
and it was like almost 6 weeks to the day that something else had happened before then, and they were just tracking this, and it was just bizarre. And I've never heard of it before or anywhere else except for on the show.
It was uncanny.
I wonder if it corresponds with the Federal Reserve, because they meet every 6 weeks.
No, this actually it's always FBI involvement.
Yeah, what it is, it's the way that the agency is able to justify its existence and its budgets is by showing that it's actually keeping us safe by setting up operations or trying to set up people to actually carry out acts of terrorism here, and then they step in and arrest them. It's kind of like they set up a honeypot. They find some kid or find some person who doesn't know any better, convinces them to do some kind of attack or trigger a bomb. They will actually help the person get the bomb, set up the whole thing, and then arrest him, and then claim that they're helping keep helping keep America safe. This is the kind of stuff that.
False flags.
Yeah.
Flags, yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting, but guys, I'm sorry, I kind of have to go. I will drop in some other hangout probably, or maybe talk to Nev, or maybe I will go to sleep because it's too late. But it's been fun. Thanks for the invite.
No problem.
Good night. Take care, guys.
See ya, Art.
Here.
Shut up, slave. I love that shit. Mac and cheese life.
Oh, and that's the other cool thing. Like, over the years, they've accumulated so many sound clips that they integrate into their program. Some of them done quite professionally, others less so, but still very entertaining.
They have people call in too, ask questions and stuff.
Nope.
No?
Everything is just the two of them.
They do have people that make donations, and since they make donations, the larger donations get read off on air, and if you donate a certain amount, you can actually label yourself as a producer, which you're clinically, actually get credits as a show producer. Like you could use it in a resume. Oh, I was an executive producer on No Agenda, blah, 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 yada, yada. But they also have kind of a rank structure, too. You can get knighted with their show. They're just rewards and incentives and stuff for people that, put it out there. They, get a little publicity.
Right, because they got their expenses to do this. Yeah.
Sure.
The time and everything. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it is, like I was saying, if you're a news program and one of the, like if Foster Farms advertises at any time of day on the channel that your news show is on, then you have a legal contract that says your news organization can't say anything bad about Foster Farms. It's just not allowed.
Sounds cool. Well, I'll check that out. For our viewers, check it out. NoAgendaShow.com.
Now, one of the most disappointing things about the show is that they closed down Club 33.
Burned to the ground.
That was some of the funniest stuff, like John emceeing a strip club. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, I've never been in a strip club, but I mean...
That was pretty much the experience complete right there, buddy.
I figured as much. What was it, a donation of $111.11 or something like that?
Yeah, the donation amounts that people send in, just so you know too, they all signify something different.
Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on with this. Listen to No Agenda. You'll get addicted to it pretty quick.
This Hangout proudly sponsored by No Agenda News Network.
So many things to look at and read and everything.
Yeah. Well, now Prescott can say he hit someone in the mouth today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Somebody got a haircut.
Look at that. Somebody didn't like us.
Look, you got my haircut.
Let me get a shot here. All right.
He went from Mandy Patinkin in Homeland to now he has become crap.
Pyle from Full Metal Jacket.
No.
Oh.
No, the teacher that became
Breaking Bad. You're thinking of Heisenberg.
Breaking Bad. That's right, Heisenberg.
Dr. House is calling me Heisenberg.
Walter White.
Walter White.
Wait a minute, didn't you have a full head of hair?
Now, say my name.
John just now catches on. You're a little slow, John. We've been talking about it for 3 minutes now.
Who has a full head of hair? You mean Walter White?
No, I don't watch the shows you were, alluding to.
Oh, I thought you meant didn't Sky Daddy have a full head of hair? My bad.
No, yeah, that's what I did mean.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Did he have a full head of hair?
It depends on what you call a full head. My widow's peak goes back to about here, and I got this big old hole. Here, check this out. Oh, wait, no, wrong account. Yeah, I look like one of those old.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I remember the picture you're gonna show me now. Yeah, I got that same problem, that little spot in the back there.
And it's just, honestly, it's just so much cooler in the summer. We got Hempfest coming up in like a few weeks here.
I was just watching. I watched a video. I forgot it was two guys. I don't know what they were doing it on Bold on whether a person should shave their head or not, and how people who do shave their heads and bald tend to intimidate people more often. They have stand out to be more intimidating and powerful, stuff like that.
I don't know.
Unless they look like a cancer patient.
Well, they were doing they did some kind of study or something, I don't know, or a survey. No scientific study here, not trying to prove anything.
John, if you forgot what Sky Daddy looks like, just click on that link. Then you'll see the before picture, and here you'll see the after picture.
I see the resemblance, yes.
You're a dirty son of a bitch, Dr. House. You can get rid of that name just by putting up a fresh pic. That one doesn't look like you at all. You know that one doesn't look like you, right?
I know. Well, as I say, like it took a lot of work posing for the camera to get just the right angle, so that all the lines and wrinkles and imperfections were minimized. I mean, not that that's a perfect picture, but it's.
You
certainly
seem like the kind of guy that would really super duper care about that. Like normally when I'm talking to you and I hear your voice, the only word that honestly goes through my mind is shallow. I'm just thinking, like, he's deep like a puddle, like an Arizona mud puddle.
What? What? Say that about my buddy Prescott.
I'm flattered.
You flattered that he called you shallow?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he knows I'm being sarcastic as hell.
I don't mind being shallow.
I don't buy it, is what I'm saying. I don't buy that shit about that picture. I think you were surprised as hell that you looked grumpy and a little bit scary in that picture. And you're like, yeah, that's what I'm going to use online.
Yes, I do. Well, it's like the other one. It has this intimidating quality to it, which just is not me. So.
Did you guys see? I was I don't know. I was just scrolling through a couple of news stories. I thought just to bring up the topic of discussion. I don't know. Let's see. Do you want to see economics, or you want something more of the religious line?
Sky Daddy wants to talk about his penis.
That'll be a short conversation.
I just read another article about how we're actually in an extinction event right now.
We're going into an extinction. Is that like the sixth extinction or something like that?
Exactly, the sixth one, and this one, of course, is man-made. Now, I'm not saying the science is right on it or anything, because there's so much going on with, the whole climate change controversy and everything else, but they did put some interesting statistics in there about how many, species have gone extinct, including like 40% of the insect population. I think 28% of the animal population in general has been reduced, and while humans have doubled. So it's and I hate to use the term, like a balance thing. Like feral house cats alone have eliminated 28 species from the planet, just living out in the woods and over hunting stuff, because there was no natural predator that was that efficient previous to the feral house cats being in that range or something. I don't know how everything works, but they're talking about at some point there could be a tipping event where, I don't know, it works like this. If you've been reading about colony collapse disorder with bees,
I've heard of it.
I don't know that specific term, but I've heard that there has been a reduction in population of.
Huge amounts of honeybees have been dying, and honeybees are responsible for 80% of the pollination of like almost all of our vegetables and fruit and everything else. Like literally the grocery store would be next to empty produce-wise without bees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a small sampling of what like one species means in the overall balance of things, but they're talking about there's a lot of species that are starting to teeter right now. I don't know. It was just interesting to me is all I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, and I read something as far as the bees, and yeah, I don't know if it's been proven or anything that they're trying to attribute it to cell phone usage.
No, actually, with the bees, it's we know what's going on there. It's there's two chemicals that are used in pesticides, and I think one of them is Dow Chemical, and the other one is Monsanto. Those two companies are the ones that make the pesticides, and I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but those pesticides are what are ruining the navigation system of the bee. It interferes somehow chemically with them, and it's causing chemical or
Yeah.
colony collapse disorder.
Well, like I said, I don't know. It was a report I heard too. They were saying it was the cell phone use messing with their navigation. I don't know. I found here in Pennsylvania, last couple. I mean, just in the last couple of years, we've had a reduction of bats, and I can definitely. I mean, I remember specifically 3 years ago. There's a tree in my next door neighbor, and the bats would they would stay there, and they're just not. I mean, I've only seen one or two.
Now, are the insects decreasing in number as well? Like, are the bats there because there's not enough food? That there's less bats?
I don't know. I have a creek by me, and doesn't seem like, I'm obviously not going to I can't count all the insects, but it doesn't seem like there's any kind of reduction in population. I'm still getting bit, and I can still see the little gnats flying around there. So I don't know. I don't know. I get dragonflies and butterflies here. That hasn't seemed to be reduced. The bee population and wasps, that does seem to be reduced a little bit. I actually I mean, especially this year, come to think of it, because I would have to do some exterminating, the last couple of years, and it just hasn't been a major problem this year, really. So.
Yeah, I've actually been putting out stuff specifically to help the bees out in my area. I've got mason bees now. I've made these little tubes for them to live in. I've got paper wasps all over the house. I've even got freaking yellow jack on my gardens, and I'm not even bothering them anymore because, you know, I'm trying to do my part.
Yeah, I mean, I am. The only problem is they start getting into my, into the house. I can't have that.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mhm.
So if we look at a satellite photo of Alabama and we see this little green spot, we know that's you.
That's me churning it out. Actually, almost all of Alabama is green. It's so green down here. You can literally throw a seed in the air and it'll root before it hits the ground. It's so fertile down here. It's all like forest, you know.
Oh,
I don't know if you're familiar with. Yeah. Forest is basically like a land ocean. There's more moisture in forest land than there is in any other kind of land outside of like lakes. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
literally is just saturated with water. The trees hold water, the earth holds water, the mulch holds water. There's a ton of organisms under the ground that, there's a lot of water in forest land.
Well, it's one of the. Is it one of the three sources of water that basically replenishes or goes up back up into the atmosphere and becomes rain?
I'm not sure on that. I honestly am not.
Mm.
One of my permaculture CDs talks about water, and it's pretty scary how much actual drinking water is available on the planet. I mean, out of all the water in general, because like more than half of the water on the planet is like ice, the fresh. I'm talking about fresh water, by the way.
Yep.
More than half of that is ice, and then it's just large amounts of it are unretrievable or unavailable, and it's like 1 or 3% of all the available drinkable water or reclaimable water. There's only like 1 or 3% of the water that's on the planet we have access to.
Yep.
It's still an ass load of water, but it's not as much as you would think.
Right. Yeah. I had actually one evening we had Peter. I think he goes by Sappho.
Yes.
He's been interested in solar power, and so I sent a little message to him the other night that maybe he should look into desalination as something that might be, more critical in the future.
Yeah, I have concerns concerning that. I that was an awful sentence. I don't know that that's a viable solution, because now you're talking about just basically stealing from another resource, And they already talk about what kind of problems there will be if, ocean levels start to lower, or you start messing with the, pH or the salt levels of the oceans and stuff like that. I don't know.
No. The climate change is going to cause the ocean levels to rise, and the desalination that we will use to get drinking water will bring the levels back down.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any stock in the models of what is going to happen. These are the same people that can't tell me if it's going to rain on Thursday or not.
No. Hold on.
Eliminate the population.
Go ahead, John.
As I say, we just have to eliminate some of the population.
There's always that.
Get those eugenics people in here.
Now, I noticed on my notifications thing that J-Dubs had a hangout going on. Was that going on at the same time as this one is, or was that earlier?
I guess so. I don't know what J-Dubs is doing, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched...
I had an issue with him yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
An issue?
Well, yesterday I'm not saying anything. I haven't told him, we haven't mentioned, so even though we're live. So J-Dubs, man, it's with love out there. But yesterday, he scheduled a hangout for midnight, and I figured, all right, I'll schedule like 10 o'clock, a little earlier. It wound up going, longer as usual. And I would pop in and out, because he apparently Brett is back on the scene. Brett Keane, Brett Keane, right, Prescott?
No.
You don't. After all these years, you don't know who Brett Keane is?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Brett Keane was, when YouTube kind of first started out, one of the first atheists to be out there, And apparently there's a lot of drama going on, and I don't want to get into it because I don't even know all the stories and stuff. And now he's a theist, but over the years he's drew a lot of attention to him, a lot of haters. Some things he's brought upon himself, I'm sure. I don't know. But it seems like J-Dubs has this weird it's like a kind of father-son relationship going on. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. So when Brett Keane hasn't been around for a number of months, so now he's had this hangout. So anyway, what I'm going to say is that he's wound up starting his hangout earlier, and then posted a link to his hangout on top of my hangout yesterday. It was kind of silly to me, It was like, it reminds me of the days when like they used to call in the churches sheep stealing. I'm like, what are you doing here, And I pop in there, I'm hearing, oh, there's another rival hangout. I'm like, no, I'm just do things a little bit differently. But it turns out that it turned out partly to be like a circus over there. So I don't know. But I sent out a notification today. He didn't have it planned. He did ask me in the feed, because I put in the wrong date. it put in
Yes.
tomorrow's date. And so he asked me, "Is this tomorrow?" I said, "Oh," and then I responded, "Oh, no, my bad," and I changed it. And no sooner after that, he started a hangout. So I don't know.
That
It's
that
all
Keen guy was often came up in the thread that I was reading today, and now that you say it, all I can think of is yes, I went there.
That's funny. That was funny.
But you can see what I mean. That music was perfect for just reading any of those threads, because it's all no. But I got it on video at 4:15. In this video, you clearly stated that this was blah blah. No, if you go all the way up to 22:44, you'll see that what I said was.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know who's over there today. I don't know.
About the post you sent out earlier today, who is this? Gary Moore, is it? Is that
Oh,
G-Man?
that's G-Man. Yeah, it's out there already. G-Man is Gary Moore. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Oh, I was commenting on because oh yeah, they made a funny like rap video like to Eminem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what? Like I guess I'm out of the loop on that one too because I have no idea what that's about.
Apparently, in a nutshell, G-Man was complaining that Alex Button mentioned his name, even though G-Man, uh, last year in a video when he was priding himself on, I don't know, coming in first, I don't know, first, second, or third in some marathon, and told everybody to go, look for his name, and his last name is in his Skype, and spelt Moore, Moore Gary, and he thinks that nobody can figure it out that that's his last name, and he was causing this whole big thing. Meanwhile, he let it out a while ago. That's the character, man.
Oh,
He just
Grant, you didn't cue the music.
I was just sitting there. For the life of me, I can't. I kind of can, but I can't. I post under my own name. I don't have any problem. Here I am. This is who I am. And if I get in trouble because of my views, then I would rather have that confrontation in at least a constructive manner. I mean, what do you have a problem with the way I think or the way I act online? I try to be respectful and responsible towards other people, and I don't have to hide.
Yep.
I can be myself. I just wonder. I know a lot of people maintain anonymity because of work, or I still try to figure that one out as well. Like what? So you got to live your life behind an avatar and a name. A name that isn't you.
Yeah. I mean, I've come to believe that Brother John has orange eyes.
There was a time in the early days of gaming when all forums that revolved around gaming were just flame fest. Your squad is this, and you do this, and blah blah blah, and yada yada. It was the same time when outside in the big world of the internet, they were talking about everybody would have to have some sort of user ID to access the internet. And
Yeah.
And a part of me, I have to say, was actually for that. Not in the sense that, you shouldn't there should be places where you're still allowed to go online, be anonymous, view anonymously, and all of that stuff. But I think in areas where you're going to engage with people and have an exchange of ideas, there should also be places where you have to, go in there and take the responsibility of being who you are with you. So I was torn on that, and even today I still am.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore because as long as Google knows who you are and Facebook knows who you are and Apple knows who you are, then the NSA knows who you are.
Yeah, I understand that, yes.
I understand that aspect, but as far as I mean, my face is out there. I have a YouTube channel. This is connected to my YouTube channel, and my face is out there. But I don't give a real name or connect to Facebook, only because I know how people's perceptions can be, especially when it comes to religion and politics, and if this is going to affect business in any way or stopping them from hiring me because of whatever,
I can see that with atheists who haven't come out. I can understand why they wouldn't want to link to their Facebook or put that kind of thing out there that because it may be damaging to family who can't understand. Maybe that they work for a company that has a Christian owner that just wouldn't be able to come to terms with things like that. There are situations that I can understand, but what I don't understand is it the same for Christians? Are you going to be frowned upon at your place of work because you're Bible thumping, quote reading, hardcore Christian?
I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out. I mean, I was hoping maybe one of you had an answer for that.
No, I hear you, 'cause especially since America is predominantly Christian.
Yeah, well, one, it's the majority, and two, it's not like, oh, well, since you came out as a, fundamentalist, you're going to get death threats by atheists. You don't see that as a reality, you know what I mean? I mean, I can see you being threatened by atheists if you're an absolute dick, towards them, but I don't see anybody threatening anyone over their beliefs as an atheist, because, I mean, for the most part, most of the atheists I know are just like, hey, just don't come knocking on my door telling me that, I need to be saved, and do whatever makes you happy. So, there that is.
Yeah. Did you see this story? I'll put a link to it. Since we're kind of on religion.
Nobody's asking you to come out of the closet, John.
Well, I mean, since my deconversion, I lost a lot. I did lose a number of friends, but I don't want to lose my livelihood, as little as it is. But this kid who had they found a mark on him, and they're saying it was a mark of the devil now. He was in bed or something, and they saw this mark on him, and doctors couldn't figure out what it was. And it's supposed to look like a mark that was in.
Did they whack him?
No, they didn't whack him.
I'm still waiting for it to load, but that's kind of what I was expecting. It looks like a gun sight.
Gun sight?
Yeah, like a...
With crosshair.
Yeah, crosshair, exactly.
Oh, okay. What we call a symbol for Mammon, the son of Satan, one of the 7 princes of hell.
Oh dear.
Does anyone know in what scripture they were able to locate that reference?
None that I know of.
I'm not familiar with it.
What are you laughing at, Prescott?
Well, you scroll down and there's a picture of the devil with horns.
Yeah.
Come here.
Come here, you. I want your soul.
And it's the like Anton LaVey version of the devil, by the way. It's not the, you know. If you're not familiar with Anton LaVey, he's the
Yeah.
founder of the Church of Satan, which aren't really Satanists. They're atheists that are Halloweeny.
Yeah.
Wrote the Satanic Bible.
Exactly.
I found that kind of funny. It was amusing, that article.
So this is like, is this site kind of the?
Well, first I got it through. I went to Drudge Report, and then they have links to all these different.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. See, I would have guessed that Rents probably carried this. Anyway, nightclub pays adult video actresses 5-figure sum to make appearance. Help, I'm a red-blooded male and I can't resist affairs and one-night flings.
What?
Just reading other articles from the same paper.
Yeah.
To be all goofball, I know. This woman, but the mother's name is Shocked Sharon, or is that her name? Shocked Sharon? No, oh, Sharon Lewis. Okay, they wrote it looked like it was her name. Okay, Sharon Lewis. I'm sorry. Shocked Sharon, 37. That's what it sounds like.
There's are you familiar with Free Republic? What Free Republic is? It's a news aggregate for like conservative news, kind of like Drudge Report, but it draws a lot from well-known blogs as well as from semi-reputable news sources. It tends to run on a very right-wing, hardcore, conservative Christian news conglomerate or aggregate. And the stories are like why Sarah Palin TV makes perfect sense. Today there was an article on there that was quoting a study that showed that children from same-sex couples tend to be better adjusted, feel more love, and I mean it was just showing all the way around that the health was better of these, right? And so you go to the comment section from that article. The comment section from the article was fairly tame, but from the aggregate site, everybody's like, ugh, study is obviously fake. Liberal media trying to, brainwash people into believing. Why are they even allowing these perverts to have kids? And these are like, and this is the, we're good Christians and we're not going to pass judgment, and those fuckers, it's just, it's awful. It's only why I go there is because I scan the articles and I look for things that are obviously, just going to tell there's certain things that'll heat them up.
So you figure they just put them in there when things start getting dull?
it's a 24-hour aggregate, so new stuff is getting put on there like all the time. I don't post there. I'm not even registered there. I just read the stories and then look at the comments. But they're so pro Sarah Palin. It's funny. I don't know if you ever listened to Sarah Palin talk before she had a professional staff that was doing speeches for her, but it's pretty scary. She answered questions, I mean news questions, serious policy questions, the same way a beauty queen does. Oh, why? No, I'm serious. And she just babbled incoherently. And this was while she was governor of Alaska. And it's like, oh my God, what did you just say? In fact, Thunderfoot did a video on one of her speeches, and somebody asked her something, and then she gave an answer, and it was just this incoherent, babbling rant, and the person, the anchor at the news desk says, "Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? In like 45 years of broadcasting, I have never seen such an incoherent, rambling statement given by anybody seeking one of the highest offices in the land." He just shut her down, dude.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton is uniquely qualified to run the empire.
Yes. Have you been noticing the big push that they're putting on Elizabeth Warren now, just like you've been hearing on No Agenda?
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm actually waiting to see if Billy gets whacked.
I don't even know who she is.
Elizabeth Warren is also known as Pocahontas. She was the one who said she's got Cherokee in her or some sort of Indian in her so that she could, get financial aid to go to Harvard or whatever. And I don't know, one of those Ivy League schools, but she's obviously, not.
Is she good looking?
Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah.
No, she's Jane Hathaway from Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was just trying to put together my own little conspiracy theory as to what Rob might be imagining about two wolves. And,
oh my God, we're not going to have a two wolves conversation, are we? Please tell me not. Hey guys, good. Hey.
We can do that.
Popping in before I head off to bed, but not if I have to hear about two damn wolves again.
Hello, Carlton.
I'm not feeding either one of those fuckers. I'm letting them both die.
Hey, Colin, I want to tell you, I only got through half of the hangout, the one you were having with Christopher Mout and Nancan, and I was enjoying that conversation that you guys were having on why argue.
Well, I didn't know about it. I just kind of got pulled at the last minute just before you started it, and I was actually pleasantly surprised because I was one of those people that really I had a bad experience with Rancam and didn't much care for him, even though I'd only really had experienced him once. So it was nice to hear that in fact, he's just trying to be, I don't mind it if they're just trying to be a jerk, a little bit of a jerk to get attention, to kind of get a conversation going. I'm okay with that. I just don't like the ones that are doing it because they really do, are hating people and trying to be mean to people. Yeah, and apparently that's not him. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, same here. My first encounter with him was, it wasn't. It got into a little bit of shouting match, and he's quick-witted and he's funny. He reminds me of like some, mafioso guy from Brooklyn. Some guys I used to know back there. For this tough guy, but it was good to see a different side and of him. So and where he's coming from. Yes.
Hey, I'm working on my first. It's pretty crappy actually, but it's my first little birdhouse I'm doing here. So I did that tonight, and I'm like, ooh, Jesus has nothing to worry about in terms of being a carpenter. No competition here.
Is like the public housing version?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't line up. It's not quite even. It has some gouges. But I'm going for the birds that are homeless anyway, so they won't really care. I should put a sign on it, like rent due on the 15th of the month or something, you know.
Speaking of Grant, do you know anything on how to attract hummingbirds?
Yeah.
Put out a feeder.
We got a bunch of feeders out there.
I thought there was a certain plant or.
There's plants that you can put out that they will definitely come for, absolutely. But the easiest way to get hummingbirds is just put out a feeder. They'll come.
Oh, okay. I like hummingbirds.
Yeah.
And they're actually we last year we actually got one for a second or two. You know, watch the videos, and so we tried to get them to eat out of our hand, and they will with a little coaxing, and if you're patient. They'll literally just hover right over the palm of your hand or sit on your fingers and eat. You know, if you have just put some red juice or whatever it is, the hummingbird feeder stuff in the palm of your hand, and they'll just sit there and lap away at it. It's kind of cool. That's more than I could get my parakeet to do. Let's put it that way.
When I was in Lancaster this past weekend, we went to a petting zoo.
That's the other way.
Fed some goats.
I got somebody on this other channel, John. You'd get a kick out of this, I think, because this is the first time I've heard this spin. They were talking about miracles, right? And they said, well, the first Jesus. I'm quoting now. This is what they said. They said the first miracle that Jesus did was turning water into non-alcoholic wine. What the fuck? I'm like, wait, what? I said, how the hell did non-alcoholic get into it? Yeah, I know in church they stopped giving alcoholic wine, right? Because the kids are getting drunk. But, you know, so I'm like, where in the Bible does it say non-alcoholic? And then, you know, to just make my day more, one of the other, you know, apparent Christians in the community, you know, posted. They said, well, I went and looked in the Bible and it doesn't say non-alcoholic. Well, of course, freaking not. They didn't know what alcohol was. Of course, it's not going to say non-alcoholic. Nor will you find a verse about unleaded gasoline. You know.
Isn't non-alcoholic wine just grape juice?
Yeah, thank you.
And that's why, yeah, I always ask that question in church. How come you're not serving real wine, you know?
Right, yeah.
It wasn't really wine back then, or it wasn't as strong as the wine we have now, or some shit.
Oh, BS. I'm pretty sure we were brewing beer way before then, and I'm sure they got the wine as alcoholic as they needed it to be.
Not only that, but the Romans were pretty quick about figuring out how to distill it even further into brandy to raise the alcohol content.
Yeah,
so they were spot on about the chemistry back then. They knew what they were doing.
There were no idiots when it came to booze. Everybody could figure out what they were doing. So I was like, yeah, I don't buy that. You know, if it wasn't alcoholic, why would you bother having it at the wedding? Who would give a rat's ass? You might as well drink water.
The other thing, you know, the Bible always, you know, speaks against drunkenness and being sober-minded. Here it is, they ran out of wine. So, you know, a lot of people have been feeling pretty good, and yet this was making more of it.
Here's how you know, okay, I just thought of this. Here's how you know it wasn't non-alcoholic. Because the Bible doesn't say non-alcoholic, but what it does say, remember, is it said that the guests were muttering amongst themselves that the guy was keeping the best stuff for him still last. Well, there's no best stuff if it has no alcohol in it. Grape juice is fucking grape juice. It's not like we have, you know, grades of grape juice.
Didn't Noah light up, get pissy, and then pass out?
He did. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know where. And this person supposedly that said this is a pastor. You know, I get a feeling that I'm betting they're one of these self-anointed pastors, but because they haven't responded to where exactly this no alcohol crap is in the Bible.
And Lot got drunk too, right? Had sex with his daughters.
Had a lot of drunk folk back then. Yeah, but anyway, that was a new one for me.
Wasn't much to do. Hey, you know, you're gonna drink. How much was there to do back then?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we drink now, and there's a whole lot more to do, but we still drink.
Hey, John, just every zoo is a petting zoo if you're man enough.
If you want to have a pet, only if you don't mind losing an arm now and then.
Okay, guys, it's 12:15 here. And I have to get up in about 4 hours. So.
Oh, well then you need to go get some sleep, Prescott.
Yeah, I only say that not to get any response other than just point out that it's not because I. What was I going to say?
That you didn't like the company?
Yeah, it's not because I didn't like the company. That's right. Thank you, Carl.
I understand.
Well, we weren't worried about that, Prescott, because we all know that we're all lovable. It couldn't have been that.
It couldn't have been. All right.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Have a
you
good
guys
night.
drive safely.
Be
All right.
good.
Good.
And Carlton soon's going to be called to bed soon too.
I've already been called once. I wasn't even supposed to get online. I'm already in the doghouse. So, but yeah, I do the same thing. I get up early. So, not that I just can't sleep. You know, once it gets like 7:30, 8 o'clock, that's it. I'm done. That's as late as I can stay in bed. So. Ooh, whoa, whoa. That said, ooh. So what are you guys up to tonight? Anything exciting?
Just shooting the breeze.
Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. More people not in here. We usually have a full house.
Yeah. Solve any world problems yet tonight?
Yeah, we were actually talking about the fact that we may be in an extinction event.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I've had that thought myself from time to time, just because, I'm wondering if this whole thing about 98% of the animals or life that's ever lived is gone.
Yes.
You have to wonder if maybe this whole thing about life, ours included, everything is just literally, even within the context of just the Earth, is just a blink of an eye. It was a fluke. It happened, and now we're going away. That's it.
It definitely seems cyclical.
Yep.
Almost everything gets wiped out. What's left behind, moves forward and refills the niches that were left previously. And,
Yep. It seems it seems like a reasonable thing for me to think think that too. I'm just like, you know what? Because we're all so full of ourselves anyway.
Sure.
We're just we're a speck of dust. We're no different than the bacteria. It's just we bitch louder, but yeah, we'll be gone.
All we are is dust in the wind.
There we go. Okay.
We like to attach self-importance to ourselves, don't we?
What's that?
We like to attach self-importance to us.
We do. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's because we've developed mentally that we have to justify why we can eat a cow.
Not me. All I need is a grill and some charcoal. I don't need any justification at all. It tastes good.
Yes.
Sorry. And I suspect that if we had animals around still that would prey on us, they wouldn't bat an eye about eating us either. They would be like,
not at all.
Can you see some big T-Rex going, yeah, but they're sentient, they're living beings. Yeah, bite me. Next.
The way they take care of their children.
Yeah, the children are especially tasty. We do like to find a little nest there somewhere. Yeah, they would eat us without a problem.
Oh yeah.
So it is kind of weird though. I kind of wish, I can't say I miss it because I'm right. I never actually known it, but the idea I think this idea that dinosaurs. I mean, when you look at all the extincts, there were so many species, even the ones that weren't really hostile, but they were much larger than we are, right? They were humongous.
Yes.
I'm like, I want those guys. I want those guys back. That would be so cool. I'm sorry. I would, even if I had to hide in my basement every now and then. That would be,
That's every kid's wish on a star, though, right?
Yeah.
I would love to have a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I want them back, and I want them living in Washington D.C.
Somewhere else, yeah. But yeah, I would. I could, even if it was a big brontosaurus.
You
something.
guys probably do the same thing. You kind of lump all the dinosaurs all kind of existed in the same time period, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as it turns out, like the difference between the Stegosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus being around is greater than the difference between the Tyrannosaurus and us.
Isn't that bizarre? See,
yeah.
And we have no. Somebody tried to explain this once. I'm trying to remember because I thought it was a very good. They were just talking about that it is. I'm probably going to get this all mucked up, but they were basically saying that it's because of our lifespan
Yes.
that we can only grasp certain multiples, if you will, of our lifespan, both longer and shorter. That's sort of the that's our range of time that we can wrap our heads around.
Yeah. Million years is already out the door.
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
we're barely fumbling around at the 2000 mark.
well, yeah. I mean, when you even think about when you talk about people who don't talk about when Christ was alive and the Old Testament times, and they talk about it as though it was yesterday, right?
Exactly. They thought just like we do now.
And everybody says, "Oh, I know the culture was different," but I don't think we really have any clue how far different it is. I don't think we can even get our heads around what it would have been like to have been there. It wouldn't have been just like you went back to the 1950s or something. I don't even think we can imagine anymore what the 1950s were like. But
if you immerse yourself in just some of the literature of the time, it still doesn't give you a complete sense of being there, because you still use it through a modern perspective.
Yeah. I watched for a while. HBO had a mini series called Borgia, and it was about the couple of families in Italy, vying to become the next pope. But it was just fun to watch because it was nothing for a guy to walk down the street with a sword and lop off somebody's ear or kill him, and nobody gave a rat's ass. I mean, it's so alien to us. In terms of their behavior and just what everybody did. Not that it was bad, but it was just so different.
Yeah, and I mean, even in short-term perspective, here in the U.S. 200 years ago, we were dueling.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you could ride into town on your horse and shoot somebody in the street.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah.
It's we forgetting is one of the things we do best.
Yeah. Well, I think there's such a large amount of history crammed into such a small period of time that we don't have I don't know the term for a relationship in time, but the same way we can do spatial relationships. You know what I mean? We just lump it all together.
I went when I do my hangout in the morning the last couple of days. Just to get it kicked off. I've been looking at one of those Today in History websites. And one of the things I've noticed last couple of days is, I swear to God, every time I read through what's happened on a given day, there's always at least half a dozen wars that apparently have names that I've never ever heard of, and I couldn't even fathom a guess at where it was. And I'm not totally ignorant about history, but it's amazing that there are things that we have literally, unless you study it, you would have absolutely no clue it ever took place.
Yeah.
We think World War II, Korea, Vietnam. You may get the occasional War of the Roses and the Crusades and a few others thrown in there, right? Right, but there are wars. Like I said, I was reading through the list this morning. I've never heard of these people. I've never heard of these places. I've never heard of these names of wars. They mean absolutely zero to me. And yet apparently they earned a place in
I think a lot of them were real estate disputes.
Well, aren't they all?
Yeah. And it's always real estate or resources, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Same thing gets me too. I mean, look how much. I mean, something happens, and in recent times, and the story will change. And I'm amazed because you go back to Jesus' time. We don't have any kind of original manuscripts or anything like that. Literacy, whatever, and not to think that nothing was changed back then, when even in our modern times with our technology, video cameras, and all this other stuff, the story still changes, and we still can't even get straight. You're going to tell me, something that happened 2,000 years ago, the story wasn't changing and evolving and getting embellished and all this.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now today in history. In 1030, the Battle of Stiklestad. Anybody know what that is? I couldn't even begin to tell you. And then we also have that the Turkish fleet in 1560 recaptures Jerba on Spanjardin. Again, means nothing to me. And then we have Antwerp request union with Utrecht. Nope, sounds like something out of Excalibur. And then we have the battle in 1588. We're getting closer. The Battle of Gravelines. Right? Anybody ringing bells for anybody? Nope.
Are these battles that are within an actual war, or is it just a separate event altogether?
I couldn't tell you. So they give on the Battle of Gravelines, it says Spanish Armada damaged and scattered by the English fleet. So that may have been a battle within a greater war.
Yeah, because the Spanish Armada, I think, had a historical place all to its own in some great war. I forget what.
But yeah, it's just odd, like I said, we think we have a handle on what we think is history, and we have no clue. We have like some just isolated,
Yeah, I mean, like even in the Civil War, we know some of the greater battles, the Battle of Bull Run, the Battle of Manassas, and, whatever. But there were a lot of little battles in there, or maybe just as big battles that, don't have as much history because they didn't take place in a famous spot or have a famous general in them. But we wouldn't recognize them if we heard them.
Right, no, absolutely.
The Battle of Baylor Creek. Was that in the Civil War? I don't know. I just made it up, but it sounds like it could have been.
Sounds like I was going to go for that. Sounds like a Civil War one, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to get something a little bit closer here. 1968. Pope Paul VI, in an encyclical entitled "Of Human Life," declares any artificial forms of birth control prohibited. That's when the rhythm method started, folks.
Yeah.
And I find that so odd, right? That you can use a natural method of birth control and that's okay. You just can't use one that actually works most of the time.
Right. You can spill your seed, which is against the Bible. You just can't use science.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's really bizarre. So by natural, I mean, I'm curious because I'm sure that people in ancient times had, some types of herb recipes or remedies or things, to prevent getting pregnant or to deal with a pregnancy too. So would those be okay if we used those? I don't know. I mean, they're natural.
Yeah,
Well, here's the thing. Tell me something that's not natural.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is natural, right? Unless you've got some kind of a cool machine that can pop stuff out of thin air. Everything is natural.
Right on. Yeah, and that's, actually I've read an article that's one of the things that a lot of the food companies do, all natural ingredients, even if it's like
wow.
Rubber stabilizers and all kinds of weird chemicals in your food, but it's all natural.
It's all natural. A little bit of carbon, a little bit of silicon, a little bit of, it's just whatever.
So there's some selenium in there. It isn't going to kill you. Well, unless you eat more than the daily recommended allowance.
Well, yeah. Oh, man. All right, man. Well.
But Americans don't eat more than they should.
Oh, no. I eat exactly what I should. Just like, can't fit any more in.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I have a hard time with I do like food. I must admit. Let's see. Anybody else screaming at me here? Oh, no. Joe Sears minded. Okay. I don't know what these idiots... Every time I get on... I'm sorry. These are people in my own little clique, but I still think they're idiots. These people that keep going on about Jason Burns and G-Man. I'm like, just move on.
No, dude. Seriously. Hold on. Let me get this for you.
Okay.
I got exactly what you need.
Okay. What do you got for me? Oh, you're not going to... This is not the Psi 10, is it?
No, it's the theme from The Young and the Restless.
Oh. God, sorry.
I was reading a forum thread or a YouTube thread today from, I think G-Man was mentioned in it too, but it was literally 2 hours of reading, so I put Young and Restless on a loop and just let it play while I read it.
Oh man, there's no way. I wouldn't give G-Man. I'm sorry, I wouldn't give him 2 hours of my time to. Yeah, I just don't understand these people that keep bitching and moaning and crying about him. And I'm like, fine, I agree with you, but then why do you keep watching another video? Just block him, and then he doesn't exist, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's like they like pain, I think.
Yeah, you gotta. It's not the nail. Have you seen that video?
No, God, no.
Oh,
Oh, I found out some interesting trivia today, and I gotta go to bed. But I thought it was cute. Anybody here watch The Big Bang,
no, not the show.
the sitcom?
No.
Oh, no.
I, I
Big
heard it.
Bang Theory.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watch it. The Big Bang Theory, right?
yeah. Okay, so you know Amy, Sheldon's girlfriend,
Yes.
the kind of mousy looking brown hair, or the right?
Yeah.
That has the degree, is the neuroscientist, right? Well,
Mhm.
it turns out she actually does in real life. She has a doctorate in neurobiology.
Oh,
She actually is a neuroscientist, a neurobiologist.
cool.
Yeah, how about that? But she apparently likes acting too. So I'm like, well, there was a waste of an education somewhere. I was like, yeah.
How about Sheldon?
No, only thing I found out about, nothing really about Sheldon. I did find out that all of the instruments that they all play in the series, they actually do play in real life. So it was all the instrument playing, the harp, and these guys actually do play these instruments in real life. That's why they brought them into the show. So that was kind of cool. Oh, I know. Okay, no, two other things I remember. Um, um, Leonard and Penny actually were dating for the first 2 years of the show. And then the best one of all is Raj was actually married to Miss India, former Miss India. So he apparently doesn't have the problem with girls where we were led to believe. All right.
Is that show? Is it? I mean, I haven't caught an episode in a while.
I always used to just see snippets of it, and I'm going to go back and start watching it now from the beginning. But I don't know if they're still going on or not.
Hmm. Yeah, so I was asking you. Yeah.
We just finished watching the last season of Grimm, which I like Grimm. The writers are getting better. Sorry, but I gotta have to wait now for yet another season. I thought that was pretty fun. All right, I'm gonna head up bed, guys.
You have a good night, bud.
All right, we'll see you guys all in the morning. Sleep well.
Maybe. Yeah.
I like him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, Colin's cool. He does a morning hangout if you ever catch him.
I think I caught him. I don't know if it was this morning or the other morning. I've caught him in the morning.
He would call
I lose track of time, so everything just kind of blends together.
me.
I couldn't tell you what happened this morning or if it happened last night or if it was it's just all one big blur.
Yeah, that's what's happening with me with these chats. People say last night. I'm like, wait, last night or the night before? God.
You got kind of muffled there. I'm sorry. What was the last part of that?
No, it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm experiencing the same thing with especially when these chats go into really late.
Oh, yeah. Brevity.
I fell asleep last chat a couple hours. Woke up, it was still going.
You were asleep when I came in this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I got 2 hours. I woke up, stayed a little while, and then went out, finally, got my ass in the shower, took care of errands and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lied down. I figured, okay, I lied down. I don't know what I was gonna do, watch the video or something, and I just passed right out for 2 hours.
Well.
Need John May in here now to rile us up.
Yeah. I read that if you're falling asleep for the old college trick, you hold your breath as long as you can and then let it out very, very slowly, and it gets your heart beating faster. It gets blood circulating. I don't know if it's true or not.
You ever try it?
No, I usually was just, mainlining coffee.
Yeah. I heard someone similar like with a if you feel like you're having a heart attack, that you should force yourself to cough. It's supposed to-
If you're actually having a heart attack, I think you're supposed to try to continue coughing until you get to a hospital. I think it keeps you from fibrillating or defibrillating, whatever it does. It keeps your heart from doing something that it shouldn't do. I've heard that too. Well, here we are down to 2.
Just me, you know. I just call it a night.
I think so.
Okay. Till next time, Grant.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll have more topical. We'll come prepared.
Yeah. It always helps, of course, to have a few more people in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally I can usually find something fairly, at least, throw up one topic in there for the group, but there just wasn't much in the news today that was worth talking about.
Yeah. I think I'll probably go, I don't know, watch a movie or something.
Yeah, sounds fun.
All right, Grant, man. Good seeing you. Good hearing from you again.
Be good, John. Thanks for the invite.
No problem, man. Have a great night.
You too.